What do you want to be when you grow up?
Kind.
You know, this is a standalone idea. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. I think that when you begin to look at kindness, and I prefer the word consideration to kindness for some reason. I feel like the word consideration has a lot more packed in it than kindness. So I would use consideration in this case. If you look at the world through the perspective of consideration, if you take off whatever glasses you have and replace the glasses of consideration, such that you see into the world through the perspective of consideration all the time, no other perspective other than consideration, I think it changes you. Or if you don't think it changes you, you might say that it reveals a whole new side of you, a side of you that might surprise you, a side of you that might open more doors, a side of you that is ready to connect with a lot more people, a side of you that considers others, a side of you that thinks about what to do about the next person, a side of you that is a lot more matured, a side of you that is not naive. Because when we talk about consideration and kindness, sometimes people think about it in terms of naivety, which is actually true, because when you go through the world and you being kind to every single person you see from the perspective of a naive person, then it means that you have set yourself up for the worst possible disappointment and the worst possible danger. Because now when you see the world through the perspective of kindness, but someone who is malicious with their intent sees you as an opportunity, sees you as someone they can take advantage of. But when you know of the potential danger in the world, you know the possibility of evil that exists, or the probability, the high likely probability of evil that exists in the world. But then you decide, despite that, deliberately, to still view the world through the perspective of kindness and consideration. Then it means you're not naive, it means you are brave. It means that you, despite the incoming flood, is willing to stand up against it. It means that you refuse to conform to the cultural norm of extreme self-centeredness, extreme dislike for the next person. So it's quite something to think about. In fact, you could run it as an experiment if you'd like. What will I be like if for the next 30 days I decide to consider others before I say something, to consider others before I do something, to think about others in my plan for the long run, in my job, in my local church, in my local mosque, in my local clubs, in my school, in any social community you find yourself. What if I'm that person, not for the sake of attention, but what if I'm that person who genuinely, as a matter of love and intention, decide to be a considerate person? Run the experiment on yourself and see who you are, who you become, or who you yourself reveals unto you. So it's a good perspective, I can assure you. nothing bad is going to come out of this if you don't do it in a naive way, but deliberately, despite knowing the possibility of danger and the possibility of people who will want to take advantage of it. I think it's a relatively low expense experiment. You don't need a budget for it. You just need intention and kindness. So